We have seen similar incidents in our own community, street racing incidents, certainly over the weekend. What happened in downtown Austin, where street racers basically took over a major intersections and then didn't disperse when police showed up. It is a concern, obviously, in the city of Austin. Is it also a concern in the city of San Antonio? Mayor Ron Nirenberg joins us now live. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Your reaction when you saw that video and what has happened since? Have you had a conversation with the police chief about what happened in Austin?
Yes, I have had a conversation with the chief specifically about the scenes that played out on those social media videos over the weekend in Austin. It's a very disturbing scene. You see a crowd overtake a police cruiser and really just in sort of a lawless scene out of a movie almost. So we talked about it, and obviously street racing is a concern in any community, and we've had our challenges with street racing here in San Antonio. A lot of the work in fighting back against these illegal street racing rings happens before the events actually take place. A lot of intelligence work, information gathering, making sure that before the street racers show up, there's already police and security in the area and able to disperse a crowd really before it gets going. In the event that there is a crowd of some size that's gathered, you want to make sure that there is a proper response contingent. Everything from, what you saw in terms of the normal police patrols, but also specialized units, in some cases SWAT. In the cases of street racing rings being broken up in San Antonio, there are lots of arrests made, weapons seized, and so we don't take this lightly. It is a danger to the public. It's a danger to the police officers themselves. So we want to make sure that they have proper support when they go into a scene like that. And that begins really before it even starts to assemble.
You know, we haven't seen something quite to that degree like what played out in Austin, but just a couple of weeks ago, there was a takeover of I-10 that shut down traffic in both directions. We've seen these takeovers where people are doing dangerous stunts in parking lots and things like that. I know in covering this over the last year or so, the city council looked at some potential policy changes that could help crack down on this, because a lot of it's spread through social media and organized that way. Do you think there is anything from a policy perspective that the council can do to help address this?
I asked the chief that the other night in terms of, are there any gaps? Are there any resources or policies that would better aid our defense of situations like that and prevention of these kinds of scenes? Also, are there is there anything that we're doing to get in the way of proper police response and prevention of scenes like this? And he said they have the tools necessary. It's really about, though, intelligence and making sure intelligence and information gathering, making sure that we have, the proper information available so that before these crowds assemble, there are police officers in the vicinity on site to make sure that they can stop it before it starts. In the event, though, that there are these assemblies, gangs assembled that are doing these street racing scenes, taking over roadways, we want to make sure that we send the proper response contingent, not just a couple of cruisers, but enough strength of force to make sure that we can quell a crowd like that and prevent violence from happening, make the proper arrests and apprehend the actors as well as any weapons that they might have on them.
Mr. Mayor, was that also part of your conversation with the police chief? Because that's what's perhaps the most alarming to me, is just the lack of respect for authority and then basically attacking police that were on the scene. The fact that when you show up to these things, you can't show up with just one cruiser and a bus, which is what, obviously we haven't seen the entire video, but that's what it looked like happened in Austin.
Yeah. Right. And so it's hard to draw any conclusions specifically off of just one social media clip or a couple of social media clips. We don't know really what happened before that and what happened after that. And I'd ask that you talk to the chief directly about that, should we get that information. But, again, the kind of lawlessness that plays out in these scenes is disturbing. We want to make sure that we're providing our police department the proper resources to police this kind of activity. And to prevent a danger from the public, and thereby also ensuring that the community knows that it's being protected, that the police department has the available resources necessary to quell these kinds of scenes before they begin.
Mayor, before we let you go, I want to switch gears a little bit. You did something over the weekend that a lot of people in San Antonio wish they got to do. You met The Rock at the Brahmas game. So a huge turnout for the inaugural game of that team, of this league here in San Antonio. Your impressions of the night?
Well, I told Coach Traylor, who was there at halftime, that there was only one person in the entire city that was more popular at the moment than Coach Traylor, and that was The Rock. And I think that's actually true. It was great. San Antonio shows up, they show out. We're a football city, we're a sports city. We get behind our home team. The XFL Brahmas here in San Antonio are they're a new phenomenon, and people really didn't know what to make of the XFL. They have some really exciting rule changes, which unfortunately put us on the short end of the stick the other day. But, it is our home team, and it is a franchise that we can get behind. And San Antonio loves football. So it was great to see us knock the socks off of the other cities in terms of home field attendance. I think that, the XFL and the sports world knows that San Antonio is the marquee city. We're only going to continue to grow in that profile. And so for the announcement to happen by Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia, who are the owners of this league, that we're going to host the championship game, it's gratifying to see them recognize that and for us to celebrate San Antonio on a national stage.
Absolutely. And I was watching on an airplane on the way back to town, and I loved hearing the announcers on ABC, on national television, basically talking about how great the crowd was in San Antonio. So, Mr. Mayor, always appreciate your time.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.